Welcome to the Rainbow Bridge Podcast, where we bring the Word of God to the lost and the LGBTQ. I'm your host, Nayshondra Mercer, a best-selling author, master trainer, and leadership coach, but you can call me Coach Nay. Each Sunday, we embark on a journey of faith, acceptance, and spiritual growth through heartfelt discussions, inspirational stories, and biblical teachings. I aim to bridge the gap between your faith and your identity, offering a safe and affirming space for everyone without judgment, fear, or shame. Join me as we explore the divine love that transcends all boundaries and empowers you to live life as your true, authentic self. Let's get started. It has been way too long, my friends, since I have sat down to have an honest conversation with you. And you all have definitely let me know how you feel about that. I have been getting texts. I've been getting bat signals. I've been getting all kinds of, where is the podcast, Nay? And I am back, my friends, to say that I am back. And also to talk to you about how I want to do things a little differently moving forward, and give you some life updates about where your girl is, because I definitely owe you some sort of an explanation for why I've been gone for so long. And I also want to give you my plan forward for how I would like to show up more consistently, because in the same ways that you all are enjoying hearing from me, I absolutely love to hear from you, and I love to know that these episodes are blessing you wherever you are. And so I want to show up. I want to honor my gifts. I want to be obedient to what God has called me to do, and I want to show up in this space as consistently as I can in the best way as to what that means for me. And so, check it out. I have been so busy with full-time entrepreneurship and growing my coaching practice. And to give you just a little bit more background about that, I have, since March of 2024 of this year, I have been 100% self-employed, not receiving any kind of assistance from the government whatsoever, but just your girl is out here on her own doing her thug thizzle, right? And so the majority of that comes from me coaching. And during the summer months, I launched a course of mine that I had been working on for about 2 years that the Lord put on my heart. And it's called I Am Seeking Myself. And the course itself, I won't go into too much details about that, but we'll circle back to that. The course itself was a calling, much like this podcast that I had got from God, to create within my business in order to help people who were a lot like me. And what I mean a lot like me, I mean children who grew up in the church and who also happen to be gay, right? And individuals who like that, such as myself, who love God, grew up in the church, and also happen to be gay, wanting to create a space for other people like that, because our challenges are unique, right? And it's something that only someone else who understands what it feels like and what that experience is like can minister to. And that is the space that I've created here, or at least that's my intention here with the Rainbow Bridge. We've done some background and other episodes about the name of the show and why I use the rainbow. And it is because everything that I do is always laid upon that God's promise that he will never, ever destroy the earth, that we will be here. And I believe that. And I believe that the rainbow itself signifies that promise. And I also think that it is just a beacon of hope and light to a lot of different subgroups of people who have different intersectionalities within their personalities. Now, however you feel about that, that's on you. But I myself believe that the rainbow itself is like a beacon of hope and love and light. And it also just reminds me of my creator. And so as a calling for the I am seeking myself, I put that out into the world, much like I did the Rainbow Bridge, to address specific issues that I felt like came up for Black women, especially who grew up in the church. And I also made it diverse enough to be a safe space for other individuals who might also happen to be gay, right? So everything about what it is that I'm trying to do, if you ain't figured it out yet, is just let people who are in the LGBTQ community know that they are safe here in this space that I have created for them, because I am one of you and you are among your family. And that's just the bottom line, right? So I put this program out and it blessed me in so many ways that I never saw coming. I lauded to have a certain amount of women in this program and ended up attracting a gentleman into this program, which I thought was amazing and caused me to have to go back to the drawing board and like say, okay, Nay, like you didn't expect that, but you know, if that's the assignment, you know, if that's what your message is attracting, if you're also attracting Black gay men, then you also have to make sure that this presentation, this masterclass of yours, is also catering to the masculine energy within them as well. Because up until this point, I had only considered the feminine essence of being women of color. And even creating that space for a woman of color who might also happen to be gay, I never once considered also making that the same kind of space for the men. And you might be thinking, well, Nay, why, you know, if you LGBTQ, why didn't you also think about that? Well, I would like to challenge and argue to say that just because you're a part of the community doesn't mean that you completely understand all aspects and subsets of that community and the things that they experience and what affect them. And so in that, it gave me an opportunity to kind of even expand my thinking about what safety might look like for other members in the LGBTQ community, right? And so my space has been one of also wanting to help those who have church hurt, right? Like that's what we usually hear it called. They've experienced religious trauma, these sorts of things, right? That's kind of more where my mind has always been with everything that I am doing, both within my coaching business and here on the Rainbow Bridge podcast. And so I hope I'm making sense, but I said all that to say, I've been working very diligently in my business on the coaching aspect of this new entrepreneurship journey that I'm in. And in doing that, I'm learning that I have to create different balance in other places if I'm going to show up the way that I want to. Now, I'm one of those people that does not believe that there's such a thing as like quote unquote balance. Like you have to figure out your individual capacity in an area and then adjust yourself accordingly, if that makes sense. Like when I work with my coaching clients, we use our coaching wheels sometimes. I pulled that out recently with a client and, you know, think about it like a pizza and, you know, you got like 8 slices of pizza and each slice represents a different area in your life, right? So you got like love, romantic relationships, and also just your social relationships. You might be looking at your health and aging, where you are in your spiritual development, where are you on your personal development, how do you feel about your finances, you know, all these different aspects of your life, right? And then figuring out where you are, where you're performing well, underperforming, and thus figuring out what your capacity in the area is. And then adjusting yourself accordingly so that you don't burn yourself out, right? Well, I have not been doing that. I have not been doing that at all. And to be honest, if I was to show you all what my life wheel looks like right now, my 8 slices of pizza are not balanced at all because I have taken energy from certain places, all of the energy in certain places and all the capacity I have in that area to put somewhere totally else. and in order to give me more energy towards that goal and that movement. And that was what I was doing when I was working in the course. But I had a good flow, and it didn't feel like I was burnt out while I was doing it, but life made me feel like I was burning out. I was so hyped up every day when I was in front of my participants in my cohort. I had them for 4 weeks in a row. They always showed up ready and fired and just willing to do the work. They were implementing the things that I was teaching them about growing their self-awareness and learning to self-regulate in the moment so that they can communicate their needs better. And getting into the mastering of all of their triggers and such, and having these great moments with them. But the life aspect of who Coach Nay is, I was in the process of moving, and, deciding to leave the city because, the city. I love Atlanta, but the city traffic, my goodness. But hey, you get what you pay for. And I enjoyed it, loved the experience, but I was very, very, very ready to leave. But that meant moving in the dead of summer, hot as the dickens outside Georgia. My goodness. And that just wore out my physical body. Like, I'm talking about lifting furniture. It's like, feels like 111 degrees outside. I mean, I'm talking about it was hot as hell, y'all. And so that depleted some of my also like mental energy that I had. And so I found myself in the middle of the course, postponing class one of the days. And I remember going back and forth during that time about if I should do that for my participants, because I wanted to show up for them. And I know that they were looking forward to, meeting with me because they said that every time. And I just didn't want to let them down. But when I weighed the odds, I was like, man, you downright tired. Like when I woke up the morning of, I felt like I got hit by a truck, y'all. Like, it's different in your 30s, child. I got energy, but it's a different type of energy. That thing put me down, put my whole body down. And it did not matter how much water I had hydrated. It didn't matter how much yoga I was doing in the weeks before this. That sun will take you out if you are not careful. And so I was just done, depleted, just exhausted. And I had to ask myself, was I going to push through for the sake of making other people feel a certain way? Because if they felt good about me showing up, then I was going to feel good. I realized that I was going to be showing up just to seek their external validation. And so I had to sit and think and just remind myself, because even I have these moments sometimes when my people pleasing shows back up where I'm like, okay, no, because what good are you to your learners who have signed up in this course to learn how they can seek their most authentic self by staying true to themselves? How can you help them through that if you can't also model that yourself? How can you get in front of them and talk to them about they need to take better care of themselves, not just themselves mentally, but also physically, emotionally as well, if you're not going to demonstrate to them that you do that as well? And especially to do so for individuals who may or may not have ever seen what that looks like in their life. And so I had this pep talk with myself, me and my higher coach, coaching me, coaching we, and decided to postpone class. And the response that I got from each and every individual in this course, both individually and in the group, they responded both in the group chat that they get, the private group chat they're a part of when they sign up for this course so that they can have access to me as necessary. And then also they reached out to me individually, like, you know what, coach, like, good for you. Like, you took care of what you needed to take care of. You feel better. And they appreciated that I wanted to show up for them in my full capacity, so much so that I decided to rest so that I could do that for them. And it was amazing. And I was so just happy that my intentions, although, for myself were good, that they were received as that, even still. because my concern too was that, well, you know, they're going to think that I'm selfish. You know, I've asked them to sign up and then I can't sacrifice myself for them. But that wasn't the kind of space that I created. And it was in their responses to me that I realized that that wasn't the kind of space that I had created. That together, in going through this course and this journey together, we had cultivated a space where we understood that there are basic human physiological needs that you just need to take care of. And that's going to always come first, because your spirit's going to always want to outfight your body. Your motivation is going to always outlast your body. That spark, it's going to always outlast your body. And so knowing that we need to honor our bodies when they require rest, as much as we need to honor what we're putting into our bodies and what we're feeding our minds and what we're seeing through our eyes and what we're allowing through our ears and our ear gate, we have to be mindful of how we're caring for ourselves. And the space that all of us had now agreed upon was that. And they completely had no issues with me wanting to do that for myself and for them, so that we could all be better. And always being able to show up as your best self, no matter what that looks like. Even being able to say, hey, today, guys, you know, I don't have it. Can we postpone this until next week? And then being able to say, you know what, Coach Nay, you got it. You take care of you, right? And that's what I want for all of us. And that's what I want the same space here at the Rainbow Bridge to be. And I am back in here to say that I spent so much time over there because it was so much fun and it was great. But I love it over here just as much. And I want to love and honor this space as much as I honor and love that one. And I also hope to bridge the gap between the two. So I said all that to say I am in a space of rest, but I am here to talk to you. And I'm here to continue to share my insights and my personal journeys and testimonies about how I've been seeking myself, and also about how I continue to use the Word of God as my anchor in everything that I do. And so in the episodes to come, if you want to continue to still rock with your girl, we're going to do things a little bit differently. And if you tune into that episode, then I'll share with you a little bit more about what that's going to look like. And I'm super excited to share some big announcements. So until then, my friends, you know where to find me. I'm always available. You can reach out to me on all my social medias at Coach Nay. And also you can check me out and my business, Crossing Bridges Coaching LLC, at my website. And all information is also linked in the show notes. If you are new here, welcome. Check your girl out, and I hope you come back very, very soon. And until then, my friends, be safe and be well.
This has been a Forecast Media Podcast Network presentation. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. For more information and more great Forecast Media content, visit pushplaypods.com.